How's everyone doing? We're going to begin the Budget and Finance Committee meeting for June the 17th. The first item on our agenda is RS 2013-724, sponsors Matthews, approves an application for an acceptance of the donation of 85 printers and held-hand scanners from the state to the Davidson County Clerk. Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-725, sponsors Matthews, approves a sole source contract with Election Systems and Software LLC for maintenance and support services for the Election Commission's existing voter registration system.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-726, sponsors Bennett and Matthews, approves an application for a state grant of $240,000 to the mayor's office to fund a family justice center site coordinator. Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-727, sponsors Matthews and Bennett, approves a state grant of $789,756 to the Davidson County Juvenile Court to enforce federal and state mandated child support guidelines concerning children born out of wedlock. Been properly seconded and moved and seconded. In discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-728, sponsors Bennett and Matthews, approves an annual state grant of $434,333 to the Davidson County Juvenile Court to provide case management and family support services to children at high risk of state custody.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-729, sponsors Matthews and Bennett, approves an intergovernmental agreement between the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the Metropolitan Police Department for the use of off-duty police officers to patrol the Corps recreation areas at Percy Priest and Old Hickory Lakes.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I understand this right, Metro is paying up to a certain amount for these?
No, we're being
We are being paid. Okay, that
right.
makes
We're being
more
paid
sense.
to provide the service through the secondary employment unit of the
Okay,
police
so we're
department.
receiving those funds, not paying them out.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-730, sponsors Bennett and Matthews, approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Metro government for participation in the Nashville Violent Crime Gang Task Force.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Council Lady Berry.
Thank you, Chair. If there's anybody here from the police department, could they just spend a second just telling us what this will do?
Yes.
Thank you.
This supports our position that we have a detective assigned to the FBI. Primarily, they investigate the bank robberies and the cross-jurisdictional issues that touch the counties in Nashville.
And how will this be impacting the violent crime and gang? It says gang in there. I was just wondering about the gang component.
They would work gang issues that cross within the counties. Primarily, the issue is for them to pay our overtime that may be incurred by that detective.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-731, sponsors Matthews and Bennett, approves an application for a bulletproof vest partnership grant of $194,040 from the U.S. Department of Justice to the Metropolitan Government.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-732, sponsors Weiner Matthews, approves a second amendment to an annual grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Social Services Commission for meal services for eligible seniors and disabled residents.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Councilor Allen?
So again, if I understand this correctly, this is decreasing an existing amount by 47,000 or something like that. Can we have an explanation of why we're decreasing it?
Is there anyone from the health department? Is there anyone from the, this is social services.
Social services.
Is there anyone from social services present?
Second.
It's been moved to defer and seconded. Any discussion on deferral? Councilman
Yeah,
Garrett?
would it be considerable to move it to the heel of the agenda today and then move to defer?
Toward the end of the meeting? That, Councilman Tiger? We'll move this to the hill. Councilman Maynard?
That is a question. Does anybody know what impact this will have if we do defer this?
We don't? Councilman? All right, this will be moved to the hill until the end of the meeting, and then we'll have a motion then. Resolution 2013-733, sponsors Weiner and Matthews, approves an annual state grant of $725,200 to the Metro Board of Health to support the delivery of local public health services.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-734, sponsors Weiner and Matthews, approves a grant of $130,400 from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to Metro Social Services Commission to provide personal care, homemaker, and nutrition services. Motion's been made to move to the hill,
Second.
and it's properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Do we need to vote on the other motion to move to the hill?
No.
Oh, okay. RS 2013-735, sponsors Potts, Weiner, and Matthews, approves an agreement between the Metro Board of Health and World Relief to provide a location where current and potential women, infant, and children program participants can attend classes. Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-736, sponsors Matthews, approves a state grant of $312,582 to the National Career Advancement Center to prepare dislocated workers for reentry into the labor force and to provide training for those facing serious barriers to productive employment. Been
Second.
properly moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-737, sponsors Matthews, authorizes the Director of Public Property Administration to exercise an option to purchase property located on Conway Street for use in the Richland Creek Greenway system.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Councilman Tiger.
Do we know what the property is appraised for, or what's on the tax rolls for?
Thomas here. Yeah, he's behind the podium. The question is, do we know what the property is appraised for?
Councilman, I don't have that information with me right now. I know where it is. It's over there to connect England Park to the West Station.
That's a small amount of money. I'd just be curious, and does public property, Mr. Finance Director or Mr. Deputy Mayor, wouldn't normally attend this meeting with having something on the agenda?
Councilman, I can get that within a matter of minutes before the meeting's over.
If we could get it for tomorrow, I'm sure it's fine. I was just curious.
Okay. Mr. Lynch, if you could get that to the council before tomorrow, thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-738, sponsors Hunt and Matthews, approves an agreement with the state for benefit of the Parks Department regarding the construction and maintenance of the Whites Creek Greenway.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-739, sponsors Matthews, approves an annual state grant of $88,000 to the Nashville Public Library System for library services to the hearing impaired. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2013-740, sponsors Matthews, authorizes the Department of Law to settle the personal injury claim of Marvin Dotson against the Metropolitan Government for the amount of $34,500. Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. Resolution 2013-741, sponsors Matthews, authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Margaret Yotzi. Is that how you pronounce it? Yost, I'm sorry about that, against the Metropolitan Government for the amount of $196,056. Been properly moved and seconded. Councilman Tiger.
All right, so a rider is on a public street and the grate's facing the wrong direction, or it's the old style grate. We have a plan to replace these in the downtown area. How many exist outside of the downtown area?
Is anyone from Metro Water or Public Works that could speak to the grates?
Councilman Tiger, there's 33,655 grates total in Davidson County, and approximately 7,000 are in the area downtown. The downtown area is the area with the largest concentration of bicycles. That's the reason we're starting in the downtown area first.
All right, so do all 33,000 eventually have to be replaced?
No. Anything built since the 1980s is going to be in pretty good shape, we assume. That's when the style changed. One of the other things that we're doing, Public Works is doing a sidewalk inventory countywide. So we piggybacked onto that, and as they go out and walk those streets and look at the condition of the sidewalks, they're also making a determination on any storm drains that might be in the area and whether or not they're going to need to be replaced.
So when will that report be completed?
That's a Public Works project, the sidewalk inventory. I'm not trying to dodge the question, but I don't know the time frame.
But that inventory will be countywide?
It'll be everywhere there's a sidewalk.
But that doesn't solve our issue in Donaldson or Bellevue or Jolton or wherever else a bicyclist might be injured.
Right. Typically, you've got two types or three types of road construction, but it's either ditches and no curbs, no inlets, or you've got sidewalks and curbs with inlets. So the next logical area was any place with a sidewalk, because there's going to be inlets along that. There will be some sections of road that don't have sidewalks, but they have curbs. We'll catch up with those after we complete the sidewalk assessment.
Best guess as to period of time to complete this countywide, assuming funding's available?
There's so many variables at this point, it'd be hard to give you a best guess.
The 1.7 over the next 5 years, has that already been budgeted? Has that been funded?
Yes, it has.
So why would it take 5 years to replace them?
It may not take 5 years. We set aside a dollar figure, and we're either going to need more or we're not going to need as much. We haven't done this in a systematic fashion. So we set aside $350,000 a year, keeping in mind that stormwater money is very competitive. Everybody's got projects that they'd like to see done in their districts. So that's how we're rolling it out.
So basically, John, let me make sure I understand. So you're going to go out there beginning July 1 next year. You have $350,000 budgeted for replacement grates and the labor to replace those grates.
Correct.
And as soon as that runs out, will that be a month into the year? Will that be 12 months to replace those? Or it would seem to me like you could knock, if a grate needs replacing, you knock it out and cross it off the list.
Not all grates are the same. I mean, in a perfect world, all you got to do is pull the old grate off, pop a new one in there, and you're done. But in some cases, the frames are defective, or the grate's not the current size, current standard size, so the box has to be reconfigured. In some cases, paving issues have left a gap between the road surface and the grate surface. So there's a lot of things out there, and I'm sure 2 months into this project, we'll have a lot better idea of how fast we're going to be able to move and what kind of progress we'll be able to make.
So do you think it'll take all 12 months, I mean, to do this first segment? Or will you run out of money halfway through it? Or you don't know at this stage?
I could tell you a lot better in 2 months once we've got a little experience under our belt.
Make a note to keep us abreast of this in 2 months then.
I will.
Right. Thank you, Councilman Tiger. Councilman Maynard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is direct. We are on 2013-741, correct?
Yes.
Question is directed to the Director of Law. This injury occurred in July 18, 2009, and my question is, were we in litigation? Had they filed obviously they filed a lawsuit, and in dealing with this litigation, it seems that if our medical bills are $128,880, and we are recommending settlement one of the total amount to include $67,175, that you all have done an excellent job.
Well, we like to hear that, so thank you very much. There's an argument that, she wasn't as careful as she could have been, and so, so that helped us a little bit. But Andrew, I think, is back here somewhere, and Andrew he is probably one of our best negotiators. He hates spending a nickel, and so he did a great job on this case, so thanks.
Is there anything else you would like to share with us as the Director of Law, and maybe as you were pontificating as to what to settle this for?
It's a tough case it's a tough matter for the city because it's kind of an overwhelming problem, and I think we're doing as best as we can, and we're hoping that the bike riders will be as careful as they can and bear with us as we progress here. So,
Mr. Riebling, do you have an opinion as to the settlement amount? Would you like to add anything?
I think the Director of Law has handled it very amply, as always.
I don't know if the Deputy Mayor had any. I saw him shaking his head. Take it, he does not. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman Maynard. Councilman Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. So, when the bike club and all, when they ride, and Greg, I guess I know you're a rider and all. When this may happen on a state highway, they go like Springfield Highway is like almost a 7-lane road, and Ashland City Highway, and if this were to happen, they hit a grate, or is the county at fault on something like that, where it's a state highway, where the state built the road?
State.
All right. Also, all the state highways that we're talking about, if something like that, it's a state problem. Okay. Correct. And those grates are out there on those state highways as well. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Garrett. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Resolution passes. We're now on to bills on second reading. The first bill is BL 2013-433, sponsors Garrett. Amends the solid waste provisions in the Metro Code to designate all fees collected for the disposal of excess garbage to be used for recycling. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Councilman Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't want to get too nostalgic with this, but this is not really new legislation. The vision back in the 80s, in the late 80s, when Bill Boner was the mayor, was to try to find a way to fund, and I believe we called it Kirby. Walter, I think you were working for Bill at that time, maybe, and Kirby, and I guess the vision for that came from the individual who was sitting over where Council Lady Allen is sitting, and that to try to find some way to fund recycling in some type of designated way. And at that time, some of you may remember the Bordeaux landfill was open and thermal plant was still here, and the administration had asked for a increase in the tipping fee. And so several people in here, instead of, it was going to be $3, and several people in here turned around to each other and said, would you be willing to vote for another $1 and dedicate that to just recycling? And there was enough people in here that well, if you were going to vote for 3, we decided to vote for 4 and dedicated that to recycling. And it raised maybe $600,000 or $700,000, and it all went into the Public Works Department. It all went for recycling. Those sources went away when the Bordeaux landfill closed and thermal plant closed. So the source for helping to fund recycling went away. I have asked the mayor's staff and the mayor and Greg and Rich and everybody seems to be, we're trying to find a way to get funds to try to find a dedicated source to replace that. And while these funds might be a while coming in, we're certainly not going to take any money away from Public Works. It will free up monies from Public Works to put into other projects, but it will at least give us a dedicated source of some few hundreds of thousands of dollars if people decide to get a third cart and if they decide to get a second cart. So while that's what this does, it just puts us back in a situation where we're trying to find a dedicated source to fund some portion of recycling. Thank you, Councilman Garrett. Councilman Maynard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that it's invaluable, all the knowledge that Councilman Garrett has, and it makes my job, I feel better about myself when I vote for ordinances and resolutions after hearing the proper historical context. So I do appreciate you also, Councilman Hunt and Councilman Stein and Tiger, who've been around for a while. And so I just wanted to say that I just think that voting for this, I'm going to vote yes, but I even feel better about my vote yes because of the information that Councilman Garrett, I want to thank him for his leadership, leading on this as well as the administration and what they're doing on this particular ordinance. And so, Mr. Chairman, I just want to tell you that I'm going to vote yes enthusiastically today and tomorrow during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Maynard. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor? All those in favor? All those opposed? Bill passes. Bill 2013-477, sponsors Matthews, creates the position of Fire Services Deputy Director and Fire Commander for the Nashville Fire Department. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilman Maynard.
Is anyone here from the fire department?
Billy Lynch is here. Commander Lynch. Director.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch, for your leadership. If you just talk about what this legislation will do and how it will help the fire department accomplish its mission.
About a year ago, 13 months ago, I had the opportunity to go to the fire department to take a look at reinventing the wheel. Brought in there's many things I did bring in. One was Maximus, a consulting firm, take a look at the organization structure and how its operations. What we're doing is emulating what you as a council approved about 8 or 10 years ago to the Metropolitan Police Department under Chief Surpass, and then eventually followed through with Chief Steve Anderson. They created the position of Deputy Director and commanders in the police. Since the fire and police have parity, this just offers parity to the fire department. I have with me today, which I'm proud of, some members of new management structure led by Rick White, Al Thomas and others, and Leanne Hager on the finance side. And I just want to compliment them for the great work they've done over the last year to try to bring through and reinvent the mindset in the fire department. And I feel comfortable that we're going to meet the deadline of 2049 that Councilman Tiger set for me a year ago.
I'll make a point.
Mr. Lynch, I appreciate your leadership. Thank you so much. I don't want to take up any more time than I have to. I really want to be brief and say I enthusiastically support this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Maynard. You're very enthusiastic today. We appreciate that. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor? All opposed? Bill passes. BL 2013-478, sponsors Matthews, creates the position of Information Systems Deputy Director for the Information Technology Services Department. Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Bill passes. BL 2013-479, sponsors Matthews, creates various positions to staff the new crime laboratory within the police department. Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Bill passes. BL 2013-480, sponsors Allen and Hunt, designates Sweetbriar Avenue between 12th Avenue South and Belmont Boulevard as Pastor W.L. White Street. Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Bill passes. We're now on to late filed resolutions. There are 3 late filed resolutions. The first we'll take up is RS 2013-743, sponsors Holloman and Tigert, extends the free metered parking programs for clean technology vehicles and for vehicles owners that purchase carbon offsets. Been properly moved and seconded. Councilman Holloman.
I just wanted to thank Brenda Wynn for working with us to bring this back to the council. She reports this has been a successful program, and so Councilman Tiger and I would appreciate everyone's support on continuing it in perpetuity. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Holloman. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes. The next resolution is a resolution supplementing and amending the 25th Supplemental Electric System Revenue Bond Resolution, authorizing the issuance of electric system revenue refunding bonds 2013 Series A. Been properly moved and seconded. John, will you, Ms. Tillwell or Mr. Jenkins, would one of you all like to explain the reason for this amendment? This supplemental amendment.
Thank you, Chairman Matthews and members of the Budget and Finance Committee. You'll recall that on June 3rd, we brought the 25th Supplemental Electric System Revenue Bond Resolution to you and asked for your approval. And it approved the authorization of Electric System Revenue Bonds 2013 Series A. That was brought to the council on June the 4th, and the council approved that. The bonds were priced on June the 12th, and we were able to achieve a true interest cost of 3.7% and a gross savings on the refunding of $8.5 million and a present value savings of $5.8 million. We are asking that you accept this late filed resolution included on Section 207 of the resolution. It contains certain parameters that govern the issuance of the bonds, and one of those parameters provided that the rate of interest for each maturity should not exceed 4% per annum. We had 3 maturities that had coupon rates of 5%, but the true interest cost was less than 4%. We think that the right thing to do is to bring that back before this committee and before the council, so there's no confusion as to what the intent was of that of those parameters. And so by bringing this clarification in, the language will follow the economic substance of the transaction.
All right. And what does this mean for ratepayers?
It means that the ratepayers will enjoy savings of $8.5 million on a gross basis and a net present value savings of $5.8 million. It's something that this committee and the council approves this late filed resolution.
All right. Thank you. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes. The next resolution, sponsored by Councilor Langster, Councilman Matthews, and Potts, approves Amendment 1 to an agreement with the State Department of Transportation and Metro Government for intersection improvements to Jefferson Street. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes. We are now back on to the resolutions that were moved to the Hill. There are representatives from social services present at this point. Resolution 2013-732, sponsors Weiner and Matthews, approves a second amendment to an annual grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Social Services Commission for meal services for eligible seniors and disabled residents.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Councilor Allen?
So now I'll restate my question that caused all this trouble. I just was wondering why that is being reduced.
We apologize for our lateness to the meeting. We found out on Friday that it was reduced due to, from what they said, 2010 census information that they received.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, seeing no other discussion, all those in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes. And RS 2013-734 approves a grant of $130,400 from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to Metro Social Services Commission to provide personal care, homemaker, and nutrition services. Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Resolution passes, and this concludes our agenda for the day. Thank you.